Hi everyone, and welcome to the Waste Campaign Writing Workshop. My name is Jay. I'm a program coordinator and mentor here in Grades of Green's Los Angeles office, and also presenting today we have Emily Stewart. Emily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Emily, and I'm Grades of Green's program manager. I work out of our New York City office.
Great. Today's writing workshop is going to help Grades of Green mentors develop and craft their very own blog article content, as well as social media captions. Here's the agenda. First, we're going to go over some general blog article tips, as well as a blog article case study. And then finally, we're going to go over some social media case studies and examples. So here are some general tips. First and foremost, when crafting your blog article content, you want to get permission from your campaign teams. You want to make sure that they know you're posting about them so they can be excited about it and see it on our website. Next, you want to craft a story. You want to engage your audience by having a timeline of events. First, this happened, then that, and finally this. By having a progression of events, it helps your readers follow along. Then, you want to keep your article short and sweet. The length that we're looking for is about 3 paragraphs long, with about 2 to 3 sentences per paragraph. However, good content is more important than length. So if you have something really exciting that you want to write about your campaign teams, it's okay to go long with the article. Next, you want to create a compelling title. You want a title that will draw your audience in. So think to yourself, what's a title that would catch your eye? What's a title that you would click on? Here at Grades of Green, one of our strategies for creating compelling titles is to use puns. So you guys can feel free to do the same. And you want to have varied sentence structures as well as calls to action. When I say varied sentence structures, I mean you want a combination of short sentences, long sentences, statements, and questions, etc. And when it comes to calls to action, you want to keep in mind the timing of the campaigns. So let's say you're in phase 2 where campaign teams are implementing their waste solutions, and one of your campaign teams has decided to do a beach cleanup. Your call to action can be something to the effect of, interested in implementing an eco-solution like so-and-so team? Click here to join the Fall 2019 Water Campaign waitlist.
Cool. Then some more tips. So when you're writing your article content, make sure to keep it fun and engaging. So similar to the title that you'd want to click on, write something that you'd actually want to read. So some ways to do that are to include metrics, details, and wow factors. So by metrics, I mean if your campaign team has accomplished something really amazing, so say, they've diverted 50 bags of trash away from landfills, or they've educated 2,000 people about their waste solution, those kinds of numbers really help people to understand what the project is about and what the team's accomplishments are. If there are any details that really bring the story to life, such as, if there's a fun fact about where the campaign team is located, or a cool story about how the campaign team was formed originally. If there's anything that brings that, team to life so that people can connect to the team and feel like they know them, that's a great way to write an engaging story. And then wow factors can be things like any achievements, accomplishments, or if you, for example, are a Grades of Green mentor that's based out of Texas or California, and you're talking to a team over video chat and mentoring them in Kenya or in Honduras, that's pretty amazing. And people on the outside of Grades of Green who don't know much about the program might be really excited and impressed by the fact that we have a global reach and impact. When you're writing your article, it's definitely okay to use first person and to keep it more personal and bring yourself into the story. So for example, you could say, hi, I'm Brett. I'm a Grades of Green mentor in Austin. I just got off my first virtual meeting with the team in Honduras, and they're working on this amazing project where they're reusing plastic bottles and turning them into a hydroponic system. So if you want to bring yourself into the story, that's great. Before you send the final version of the blog post to your Grades of Green staff advisor, please make sure that you do a thorough spell and grammar check. So review it over a couple of times, and what really helps me is to actually read it aloud to myself. That way you catch spelling and grammar mistakes you might have missed just from scanning it on the page. And then another recommendation is you guys have each other as peer reviewers. So if you want somebody else's eyes on it, you can always reach out to other Grades of Green mentors over email or over Edmodo and ask for another pair of eyes on your article. When writing, though it can be very tempting to have every sentence end with an exclamation point, try your best to limit them and really try to use, strong direct writing instead to bring the story alive. Instead of like 50 exclamation points, even though it's tempting. And then when referencing a student in a story, if you're going to call it an individual student and their accomplishments, please make sure to only use their first name or their first name and their last initial, for example, Emily S., just to make sure that their privacy is protected.
Now that we've gone over some general tips for crafting your blog article content, let's go over a case study. On the right-hand side, you can see an article that was posted by Grades of Green a few months ago. This article has a story element and it has a timeline of events. As you can see in paragraph 2, first Ishmael educated his school community, and then he was able to get over 1,000 students to tell their families to turn off car engines. The article is also very short, and it has a great number of sentences per paragraph. But let's take a look at the title. Grades of Green student educates on air quality. To me, that title seems a little generic. Is that something you would want to read based on the title? When crafting your own blog articles titles, please make sure your titles are a little bit more captivating. The article does, however, have a lot of varied sentence structures. It has a combination of short sentences, long sentences, statements, and even opens up with a question. The article is also fun. A 5th grader engaging his entire school and being broadcast on school television is pretty interesting. The article also uses first person. In paragraph 3, you can see it says, thank you for caring about our environment, which personalizes the article. But let's take a look at spelling and grammar, specifically paragraph 2, sentence 1. Ishmael educated his peers, teachers, and school community about how they can contribute to having better air quality and encourage them to stop idling by hosting a segment in his school's broadcast television show, The Woodbury Weekly. To me, this sentence seems a little bit long, and I think it can be improved by either adding some commas or even splitting it into multiple sentences. Unfortunately, the article does use a lot of exclamation points. I think it uses a couple throughout the entire article, but when making your very own blog articles, make sure to limit this as much as possible. And finally, the article has a great call to action in paragraph 4. The call to action is having people register for the fall water campaign, and it even includes a link so that action item can be even easier for the audience. Now that we've gone over some case studies and general tips for crafting blog article content, Emily S. is going to teach us a little bit about social media.
So for your social media posts, the idea is to, highlight that same great story and that same great content, but to adapt it for a slightly different platform. So especially for social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook, the photo and the image that you're highlighting is really, really important because it's the first thing that people are going to see and it's going to draw them into the story. So an example of a great photo is the one that we have here because it really has a lot of color. It highlights the kids, it highlights the project that they're working on. This is actually a photo of a group of students who just presented their straw band idea to Manhattan Beach City Council. And as you can see, they're in their straw monster costumes. So the image is fun, it's related to their project, and it has highlights the actual kids who are in it. So when you're asking your campaign teams for a photo, make sure, of course, that you have their photo waiver permission and their permission to post. But once you have those great photos, choose one that's really eye-catching, like something like this. And then for the actual content, unlike a blog post, which would be about 3 paragraphs long, for social media, you want to keep it to 1, maybe 2 really, really short paragraphs with hashtags and emojis that would engage the audience. So we'll add in the emojis later, but for the hashtags, if there's any hashtags that are, could be relevant either to the time of year or to the subject that you're posting about, feel free to add them in. So an example could be, right now it's close to Valentine's Day. If there's a way to incorporate, loving the earth, any kinds of seasonal themes like that. Or it could be specific to the day of the week. So for example, hashtag Transformation Tuesday or hashtag Monday Motivation, depending on what day of the week you're posting on. So here's an example. The topic is Malezi Community Center campaign team in Nairobi decided to upcycle bottles. So already a really cool story. How can we highlight what they're doing through the post? So here's an example text. We love how the eco leaders at Malezi Community Center tackle problems with creativity and a positive attitude. Their community in Nairobi has no waste collection system, so the Malezi team is collecting plastic bottles to hashtag upcycle and turn them into bricks for community building projects. That's some serious hashtag Monday motivation. So as you can see, this post is pretty short. It's only a few sentences long. It highlights what the project is, what the problem is, and what the solution is. So if there's a way to frame that in your social media posts, your campaign teams are working on solutions. So highlighting where they are, what the issue is they're addressing, and what their awesome solution is. And then at the end of the post, you also want to include a call to action. So here's a couple of different ideas. One of them could be click the link in our bio to learn more about the other teams like Malezi who are creating solutions as part of our campaign team. So that's one way to engage the audience. Another is to actually have a call to action that makes the audience engage with the post. So that could be give them a thumbs up if you like what they're doing, or comment below if you have a goal for Earth Month, or tag a friend who's also working on a similar waste solution. So if there's a way to engage the audience in actually commenting or liking the post, that's also even better than just having them see the post.
Great. We hope this writing workshop is helpful in helping you craft and develop your very own blog article content as well as social media captions. If you have any questions about how to do this, please reach out to your staff Grades of Green advisor, and we're happy to help. Thanks. We hope to see you soon.
Ooh.